Okay, we're going to try to fill in the notes column by writing with fractions. Remember, one of our shorthands is KFC, keep, flip, change. And when we have a mixed number, we're going to have an extra step or two. But two numbers that have a product of 1 are called, I'm not going to be able to fit that in on that line. Let's see if I can fill it in here. I'm doing it on the iPad. Oh, need a pen on. Multiplicative inverses of each other. Or you could call them, and this is more often the word used, reciprocals. Reciprocals of each other. So the reciprocal of a fraction, whoa, I'm getting dizzy. The reciprocal, that was supposed to be an R over there, of a fraction is obtained by switching its numerator and denominator. Often I just say that you flip the fraction or invert. You invert the fraction or flip it. Now, if you have a decimal number or mixed number or whole number, you have to turn it into, am I making dots all over the place? No. You have to turn it into a flippable fraction, often an improper fraction, to be able to make it flippable. So for an example, if it has to find the reciprocal of the following numbers, what you want to make sure you do not do is say that a number is equal to its reciprocal. That's only going to be the case if the number is equivalent to 1. So in the case of 1/4, its reciprocal is 4 over 1, or 4. Now some people feel like they need to use some sort of symbol, so you can use little arrows like that, but that's not any sort of official symbol. But if you feel like you need something to show how they relate to each other, that could potentially be an option. If it doesn't say it has to be a proper answer, then you could just stop right there and just say the 4 over 1. But if for whatever reason you need a proper reciprocal, then you could just make it the 4. More often than not, we're going to keep it improper to be able to do the computations. Now, if you have something like 1 3/8, you first have to turn it into 11/8, so that then you can flip the 11/8. So you need to make it flippable to find the reciprocal. And then the last example there is 23. Now to make 23 flippable, any whole number, I can just put over 1, and then its reciprocal is 1 over that number. Now when we are using division, the reason we're using division is to split up an amount of an item, to find how many parts can be made, or to find out how much would be in each part, sort of like the models that we've been doing. So you use division, the word we want to fill in there is division, when splitting up an amount of an item. To divide a number by a fraction, multiply the first number by the reciprocal of the fraction of the second number. So remember to leave the first number alone and flip the second number only. So what we've been saying in class is to KFC, keep, flip, change. Also check if you can simplify before multiplying. It's super duper helpful. That's not what I meant to write. Simplify, let's see if I can get that. Eraser. Okay, erased more than I wanted. Might as well write the whole word over because that didn't work out. So simplify before you multiply. So if we have 3/4 divided by 1/6, become 3/4 times 6 over 1. I'm going to go ahead and make that 4 into a 2, and that 6 into a 3. But those 3's cannot be simplified. They're on the same side. Always make sure you're waiting until you have a multiplication problem to simplify before you multiply. So 3 times 3 is 9. over 2 times 1 is 2, and then make it proper. In this case, 4.5. For the next one, we have 4/5 times 3 over 2. We can simplify by dividing the 4 by a 2 and being left with a 2. Divide the 2 by a 2 and being left with a 1. Make sure your work's a little neater than mine. I'm doing it on the iPad, the stylus. It's not quite looking as neat as it could be. We end up with 6 over 5, which when made proper, the proper mixed number would be 1 and 1/5. Oh, jeez. Well, hopefully you get the idea. Right, and then the last section is about mixed numbers. Mixed numbers, we're going to have one more level of complication. To divide with whole numbers or mixed numbers, convert to improper fractions, then multiply the dividend by the reciprocal, reciprocal, you can kind of see the letters here. If not, look above for proper spelling of the divisor. So one year, we were just getting kind of silly and trying to think, how can we remember that? And I said, well, steps. You have to improperify, not a real word. You have to flipify. So go ahead and write that down. That's when you KFC. Make sure you're flipping the right thing. So KFC. You have to simplify. Hey, finally a real word. Simplify. You have to multiply, for short, real word. And then you have to properify. That one, not so much a real word. So in case you're having trouble reading the chicken scratch, it's improperify, then flipify, within parentheses KFC, and then simplify, and then multiply, and then properify. Really, that's a lot of steps, but if you do them carefully, you should get the right answer. But don't forget any of those steps. So we're talking about how to try to remember those steps. And someone came up with, I frequently smell moist pancakes. I have no idea why they smell moist pancakes, but it's stuck. And now, literally, I will stop and go, let's see, okay, did that, frequently, oh, yep, flip, smell, simplify, moist, pancakes. Except sometimes I'll say mashed potatoes, which makes more sense to me. Or then I get confused and I say moist potatoes or mashed pancakes. But hopefully you get the idea. All right, so the first example, 1/2 divided by 4. 4 has to be made flippable to find its reciprocal. But I can make a whole number flippable right in the original problem. So this one can just be changed 4 over 1. And so I can go right into making it a multiplication problem. 1/2 times 1/4. And then I multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, and done. The second one also, I can turn that 9 into 9 over 1. I'm going to need it to do multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. Remember we talked about roadblocks back when we were doing multiplying fractions? But the second number is already flippable. So I can go ahead and turn this into a multiplication problem. Oh, nothing I can simplify before I multiply. So multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, and then make the proper mixed number 13/2. Even this third one has the second number already flippable. However, it has a roadblock. So this does require a rewrite. 2 2/3 is the same as 8/3. But I can do my flipping at the same time I'm getting rid of the roadblock. So 8/3 times 6 over 1. Multiply across the top, 48. Multiply across the bottom, 3. Oh, darn it, that's when I'm realizing I could have simplified before I multiplied. Didn't I already just say nothing I can simplify? I didn't look hard enough. Sometimes I do that. That's why I love working with pencil, because then I go, oh man, it's going to be harder to simplify it after once I see that. So then I go back and I realize I could have simplified a 3 out of the 3 and divided 3 out of the 6. And up with 8 times 2 over 1 times 1. So 8 times 2 is 16. Over 1 times 1 means it's just the whole number 16. So even though I make you show a lot of your work, there are places where I let you sort of put more than one step in. Let's see, the next one, 9 becomes 9 over 1. But the second number is not flippable. This one has to stay a division problem during the improper phi step, because the second number is not yet flippable. So I have my original problem, then I still have a division problem where my second number becomes flippable. Now that it's flippable, I can go ahead and change it into a multiplication problem. And annoyingly, the 9 and the 3 are no longer on opposite sides, so I cannot simplify that. Let me look harder this time. Nope, nothing I can simplify before I multiply. So multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, and then make that proper. How many 4/4 can I take out? It looks like I can take out 6 of them, because that would be 24/4. I'd be left with 3/4. Uh-oh. I think my answer that I have when I went over it in class last year is wrong. Hold on. Let me ask Siri. Hey Siri, what is 9 divided by 1 1/3?
Sorry?
What is 9 divided by 1 1/3?
It's 6.75.
Thank goodness I'm doing this over. I had it wrong last year. Okay. So 6.75, which is the same as 6 3/4. Whew. All right, now let's see, one more. This one, gotta get rid of roadblocks on both parts, which means I can't change it into a division problem yet. So 21 over 4, oh gosh, that was messy. Divided by 28, 29, 30, 30 over 7. And then it becomes 21, that's supposed to be an equal sign. It becomes a Z when you don't lift your stylus enough. 21 over 7 times 7 over 30. I can divide out of 3 out of 21 and be left with 7. Divide a 3 out of 30 and be left with 10. And then I get 49 over 40, which is 1 9/40. And a teacher just showed up, which is good because maybe she can help me actually post this somewhere. All right, I hope you enjoyed.